Oh, oh, there's few sounds in the world that immediately perk my interest. One of them is opening a fresh can of beer, and the other one is the
This
voice of
episode
Douglas
brought to you
Davidson.
by
Beer in general. Duff. The Duff beer. The other one is the voice of Doug Davidson. How are you doing today, sir?
I am fantastic. It has been a hell of a day, but anytime I get to do this, it's a great damn day. I'm immediately perked.
It has been a day. But this is the Cinnamon episode 46.
Yes!
Yes! Yes. Once again, my guessing skills. What got me into college in the first place.
Woo!
Episode 46 of the Cinnamon. We are back in a big, bad way right here. Doing what we do, talking about movies. It has been an extended vacay since our last episode, sir. What's new in your world? Or I guess if you want to roll right into what have you watched in the last 2 months? I don't know. A movie.
We ain't got time for that. We need more time. Since our last show, because our last show was recorded in preparation for the end of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We were still doing NCFCA voting, which thankfully that went rather smoothly.
Yeah,
but
turnaround on that is very quick.
What was that?
The turnaround on that is very quick.
Yep. Well, that's one of the nice things about using SurveyMonkey. I haven't used that in some time, though. Apparently, I'm gonna have to learn how. If you've heard about the new things going on, if you've been checking your emails,
I have been. Congratulations to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. I'll do my best not to burn the whole thing to the ground. But anyway, I'll become the last Jedi administration. Y'all know how that goes. Anyway,
the NCFCA must end.
No. But between that, SEFCA voting, CCA voting, and now, by the way, you and I, something new that we both share. We're both members of Film Independent.
We are both members.
So we get to vote in the Spirit Awards because we're dumb bastards.
You're not wrong.
I'm really tired because I have a ton of shit to do. I know what'll help. Join another organization.
Yeah, I was like, this is a good idea. And then the emails started flooding in, and I was like, this wasn't a good idea. But hey, it's movies to watch, it's movies to vote on, it's movies to talk about. So,
But honestly, what's really great, and I don't know if it's something they do all year round or just because they're building to the Spirit Awards in April, but I've found that what they offer to the members is really wonderful. There's some great Q&As for people like me that are only in it for the film criticism, that are only in it to just watch stuff and participate in Q&As, that kind of thing. That's wonderful. For people that are screenwriters, trying to be producers or are producers, actors, directors, whatever, it's a wonderful resource for independent cinema as well, though I haven't poked around much in that myself. So I've just been watching a ton of shit. We do not have time to get into all of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the list of nominees for the Spirit Awards, and as of today, I still have 15 to watch, technically 14 and a half, because I have an hour left in the White Tiger. Crystal got home from a doctor's appointment before I could finish it. So I blame her for that. But I've got 15 of those left. But in terms of like just quick catch up, the newbie who was still fresh and hot from the oven, Preston, he's teething at 3 months old. So
nice.
That's fun.
Oh yeah.
And South by Southwest is about to go down. I've already seen 3 films because of when we're going to release this. I can't talk about them yet, but I want to, because particularly the last one I watched was amazing.
All right, right on.
It was amazing, but I can't say any more than that, but I can't wait to. So by the time this comes out, look for my review for a movie to drop. I think it's the first one I'll drop on Paprika. That's like my favorite so far, and I've got 5 more to go.
I like it.
Before I get into those watches, is there anything new and exciting with you? Released any new websites or anything lately?
I have indeed. At the
Really?
time,
What a coincidence!
yeah, strange question to ask, but interesting you bring
Strangely
that up.
specific.
The day that we're recording this is the day that PawBreakerReviews.com has gone live to the people. It's been out there for like 2 months. It's just no one knew where to look. But yeah,
And it's not really out there.
Then it's not really.
Is
It was
it
a soft opening.
opening?
But yeah, it is out there. You can click around. All sorts of interesting tidbits in there. We got some new reviews, some old reviews. Myself, my contributors, Jimmy Utah and Carol Coles, all sorts of stuff that is up in there.
Jimmy Utah? Sounds like a Fed name.
James Washburn in Utah, and we call him Jimmy Utah.
Sounds like a Fed name. He's gonna betray you.
Considering when we met, we both worked for the feds. It almost makes sense.
Does he surf?
No, he does not.
Oh, well, even worse, because he didn't surf at the beginning of the movie either.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of stuff on their reviews, podcasts. This will be on there as well, and also it will house the Paprika best movie brackets that are going on right now. So you can go check those out as well. Those bastards today voted out Godfather over Pulp Fiction. I'm still mad about it.
Yeah.
Wait. Which did you vote for? You voted for Pulp Fiction, didn't you?
Those people. How dare they?
Well, you know what? I still love you, sir. So yeah, that's out there now. So thanks to all the people that went and checked that out, as well as the new Patreon. I got a couple people signed up for it. So good shit.
Thank you very much for signing up and supporting this.
Yes, and
we're gonna pinch you later because you supported us with a Patreon.
That's right. If you're at the $5, the few dollars more tier, then you can get our extra behind the paywall show, A Pinch of Cinnamon, with myself and the wonderful Doug Davidson.
And if you keep up in that Patreon, maybe we'll pinch you some other way. But that's between you. That's between you and your Patreon level.
You know what? Your Patreon level, and hopefully me. Extra $3 for the spouse to get in on it. But please, sir, what interesting things have you checked out lately?
Well, I'm going to talk about 3 films. One, just to keep things moving, because we could just talk about new watches as we go through. But the first one I want to talk about is one that was a wide release. I was disappointed that it didn't get the theatrical it was intended. It has gotten mixed reviews from a lot of people, whereas I watched it once, laughed my ass off, and then dragged Crystal upstairs the second day to watch it again. Coming to America.
Yes, indeed.
Craig Brewer.
Yeah.
From Dolomite Is My Name. And by the way, for anybody that had a problem with this movie because the writing didn't feel like it was on par with the first film, same screenwriters. They added, what's his name? Kenya Barry, who does Blackish.
Oh, okay. Series. Right on. Yeah.
Barris, excuse me, Kenya Barris. But other than that, it's everybody returned. Everybody returned to work on this. And did it sort of feel like a rehash? Yes. Did it sort of feel like it was just what characters can we bring back in a silly way? Yes. But did it have to be anything more than that?
No.
Did it have to be?
No.
And in all honesty, when expectations are a bastard, I've been rewatching the Zack Snyder films because the new one's coming out. Whether I see it or not, I'm honestly not sure at this point, just because of when it comes out in South by and all that. But I found that not going in expecting a Superman story made Man of Steel better. It's still an inconsistent movie. Horribly inconsistent. There's a whole plot line where Jor-El conceives Kal-El because he wanted his son to have choice. But before he makes that known to Zod, he tells Zod that Zod is breaking the traditions of Krypton by doing what he's doing and breaking the law. So that's one. 2, when Clark finally meets his father tells him, your mom and I wanted you to do this thing. We want your destiny to be this bridge of worlds. So what you're saying is he has no choice.
This is an interesting review of Coming to America.
Sorry, but I segue. My expectations for Coming to America, watching the beginning of it, were it's supposed to be it's not the first film. It is a return to, and it was aware that it didn't need to be anything more than that. And frankly, the more times we can have Colin Jost show up as a racist asshole, the better.
There you go.
He
There
seems
you
to be
go.
born for that. What a wonderful way to work in Duke and Duke. What'd you think?
I still not watched it.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying.
Sorry to ruin that for you then.
I already knew. I'm trying to carve out time to watch both Coming to America and Coming to America back to back, so I can.
I wish you guys could have seen him be like, "Why am I saying this twice?" Like shook his head, like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, I want to watch them both back to back. So when I can carve out that time, that's when I plan on checking it out.
It help. When I say it helps, there's enough in the new one. Keep things easy. There's enough in the new one, and they give you some flashbacks and other things where people that have not seen the first one will have no problem with it. But I did watch the first film the night before seeing it, and it made it so much more fun.
Yeah, see, that's
little callbacks, little things were made richer having done that.
Yeah, and I feel like I've seen Coming to America enough that I should probably pick up on those, but still, I just want to be able to use the first one to kind of re-immerse myself in that world before going into the second.
Never a bad time to go back to Zamunda.
It's never a bad time. I am a loyal citizen of Zamunda.
One thing I missed. One thing I missed that was a wonderful callback, and this won't ruin anything in any particular way, but when they get to America in the first film and they try to dress inconspicuously and they buy all that
the
New
Mets
York swag. Yeah, and Eddie's wearing the Mets jacket. It shows up again.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until I was watching something where they were doing a montage and there was that clip of him in the jacket. And I was like, oh, that's even funnier. He still doesn't have a fucking clue. Like, Akeem is just still so sweet and naive and fucking clueless. It's wonderful. Now, another movie I would recommend that is a complete different direction is a film called The Vigil. It was written and directed by Keith Thomas. It apparently screened at Sundance in 2019, was supposed to be at South by either 2019 or 2020. Basically, it had hit some festivals, was supposed to get a wider release. It didn't. It got picked up by IFC Midnight. It's a film that follows a man who used to be in the Hasidic Orthodox community. The Hasidim are really the ultra-Orthodox, the very religious version of Judaism. And he has left the community. And he's trying to learn how to live in the world. He doesn't know how to make a resume, for example. He shows up at a job with a piece of paper instead of something typed up. So he's learning about all these things, and he's in a group to do that when he gets asked by a friend who is a rabbi to come sit Shiva. And to sit Shiva means to, depending on the context, in this one, it means to keep the company of the dead. It helps protect their soul. So for this 90-minute movie, it uses Jewish folklore to tell a horror story about trauma. And it starts off very tropey. There's some wonderful visual references to The Exorcist, except this time with a rabbi, so I thought it was hilarious. But the further in it goes, it's far more, it ditches the tropes that you expect, the blinking lights and whatever else, and turns into something sort of beautiful and empowering. So I'd highly recommend that.
Already, nice.
And then last but not least, that's available on VOD now. Last but not least, a film called In the Land of Lost Angels. It is a crime drama. It's available on Amazon Prime Video for free if you've got that. It's an indie film written and directed by Bishrel Majbat, if I'm pronouncing that right. He contacted me, and apparently, as he claims, it is the first Mongolian American film.
Like a film that was jointly produced, or is the lead Mongolian American? Or
he is originally from Mongolia.
Yeah.
He came here, I think around 16, 17. He graduated from, I believe, the University of Chicago. And
he came here in 2016 or 2017. I was like the year 16, 17.
Oh, no. When he was 16.
Awfully old. Oh,
no. When he was
16.
16 or 17.
Okay. All right. Then.
And so he's originally from Mongolia. I may be mistaken, but I think one of the cast members might be a relative. But the two leads are originally from Mongolia. They speak the native tongue throughout the majority of the film. In fact, it's a wonderful bit when one of them has some family that needs an emergency procedure. They have no money. So he convinces a buddy to help him kidnap somebody for a ransom.
Nice. I like it.
Things go bad. But one of the things that I loved is that the two of them, because they primarily speak in their native tongue, they're like, well, how will I know if you're in trouble? Because one of them's going to go do something. Guy turns to him, looks at him, gives him a smile, and says, I'll speak to you in English.
Oh, there you go.
So they're very smart. Do they make some mistakes? Fuck yeah, because they're not professionals. But they're smart enough to make things believable. The direction is really interesting. It's all in black and white. But it's a really tight 90 minutes, and do recommend.
Boom. There you go. And it's on Amazon Prime, you say.
Yep.
There you go.
Unlike my description of Coming to America, which turned into a discussion of why Man of Steel is horrible, Paprika movie review fans, the movie is not very good. When you read the about page, it's not very good. But the rest of it is brief.
Okay.
Man of Steel's bad.
Man of Steel's a wonderfully made movie. I dare say a masterpiece for those who are not fans of Boy Scout Superman. I got 3 movies as well.
Because he doesn't like humanity.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Why would he help them? Why?
Because
why become Superman?
Why not? Anyways, we're not here to talk about that.
I would like a reason, sir. I've watched the movie.
There's
no reason.
There's none. All right, then we'll get to that when we talk about it. I got 3 movies to talk about as well.
What you got?
Here, just came out today as of this recording. Good old Cherry over there on Apple TV Plus. Apple Plus TV.
Yeah.
What are they calling that? Apple Plus?
Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus. Yes, the home of on the Ted Lasso channel.
Yeah, it is. MVP.
I just purchased myself a shiny new iPad, and I got an email, and they're like, "Congratulations! Here's like year of Apple TV Plus." And I was like, "Had no need for this, but I will take it." So maybe I'll finally sit down and watch Ted Lasso.
Watch Ted Lasso. It is everything you've heard.
That's what they say. But Cherry up there now.
Was that everything you've heard? Was it Cherry?
It was not Cherry. To be honest with you, man. Directed by the Russos, the first big thing they've done since obviously the smash Avengers Endgame. Young Tom Holland and there's a Ciara Bravo in there as well. If you don't know what it is, about it, a fella in the 3 different stages of his life, I guess you can say the young period when he signs up for military service, and the spiral of the aftermath. What could have been a great movie, looking into the lack of care that veterans get and how that lack of care has driven some of them into deep dark holes. They choose to not really touch on all that too much. There's more there that could be mined. Let me put it that way. Tom Holland is doing the best he can to save this movie. I think in a movie that is not good, this is the best Tom Holland has ever been. And also Ciara Bravo does good with what she's given, but unfortunately she's not given a whole lot to work with. It's decent at best is what I will say. I give it one watch and then get about your day. And also 141 minutes. Far too long for this movie.
You think, okay. Realize by the time people hear this, maybe they will have had a chance to see it. As you said, it's a big time investment. So that may be a turnoff. What would you cut? What would you trim?
I've been trying to think about that. I'm trying to think of, for me, the military bit drags on because there's 3 very clear acts: before military, after military. And it's jarring tonal shifts between each 3. I'm not sure why they chose to go that route, but the military second act, I think you can take a whole lot of that out because that's him signing up. That's boot camp. That's his first tour, and all that is necessary for the story and for the progress and the development. But I think they drag it out way too long. That second act drags.
Do you think it's because they were trying to be faithful to the novel that they kept that in?
Yeah, well, I haven't read the book. I mean,
neither have I.
I'm assuming, yeah, in the novel he goes into the military and this, that, and the third, but they just focus on that for far too long.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I think that's where it really drags because it's pretty decent. In the very beginning, you're like, he's met this girl. They're having, they're getting along, having some communication issues. He's very established and firm as a character. And then the afterward, that downward spiral into addiction and, opioid abuse is interesting, but that middle is fucking rough, man. I think you take 20 minutes out and you have a little bit of a sleeker, slimmer, more taut runtime. When I did my review, I compared it to these are Avengers Endgame directors.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to give them reign to do what it is they do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the issue. They are pulling a George R.R. Martin. That last book needed some little trimming, but I think that they might have indulged a little too much.
Before they went into Marvel, they were doing episodes of Community and other TV shows.
Right.
So certainly they know how to tell a tight story. If I remember right, they did the second paintball episodes. What's the cowboy movies that you use them for? Fistful of paintballs and a few paintballs more.
Okay,
no, that's what they named them. Fistful of paintballs and a few paintballs more. If I remember right, is the name of the two of them, the two episodes. So they can do tight, short, compressed storytelling. I don't know. I sort of my feeling with Cherry is more the beginning is a little weaker because he doesn't have much of a personality other than awkward and lets people walk all over him.
Mm-hmm.
And his first impulse when she goes, because she's sort of screwed up, when she gives him some bad news and he's like, fuck it, I'm joining the military. What? Like, the choice to do that doesn't seem to be set up. But whereas I loved the fact that because we're getting everything from his perspective, everybody's names are all whatever bullshit nicknames he gave them.
Yeah.
I love that the banks were like Shitty Bank
yeah.
and everything else. It's actually really neat. For FYC, Apple sent out some stuff with it and included the business cards for the banks.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man.
And I went, this is my favorite thing ever.
Hey, man, clever marketing can help out anything. Yeah, I think that him joining the military is what his inevitable conclusion would have been, because they do a very good job setting up this is a town where he has no future, and I think he's bright enough to realize that he does not want to be like his burned out friends. So I think that's something that he would have eventually got there, but the events that happened just kind of propelled him to that decision quicker.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I also watched The Mauritanian. Did you check that joint out, man?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, look, man.
What do you think?
I enjoyed the shit out of that movie.
How dare you? That is a horrifying movie you enjoyed.
It is horrifyingly well done.
Yes.
I think the BAFTAs gave it a little bit of love.
I think so.
I saw people
ignored by a lot of people, but the field with the extended time period, the field is just The Five Bloods is mostly getting ignored from a lot of big organizations.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people on Twitter like, what the fuck is this Mauritanian movie? And I'm like, man, it's the dopeness. It's a true-ish story about a fella who's captured by the government after 9/11, held in Guantanamo Bay, like so many people were, not charged with anything, not no reason to hold these people off
And
of
by the way,
U.S.
real
soil.
quick, hold on, real quick. You say captured. The man wasn't on the run.
You know what? That's a good point.
He was
willingly
arrested.
went. Yes,
He was arrested. He wasn't.
Yes.
He wasn't captured.
Yeah, it's very, very good point. Very good
Just
point.
semantics.
A man who willingly went to go explain himself
Mm-hmm.
and ended up, in the clink for some far too long. And it is the story of lawyers who are working to get his release. And played by Jodie Foster, being our main lawyer, Nancy Hollander. And she goes with the tell your story defense. Tell your story to the people. Tell your story of what's happened and how did you get to where you are? What's your life like inside of here? And that's the majority-ish of your story of the movie is him telling his story. Very well paced.
Yeah.
And Tahar Rahim, man, that dude puts in all the work. But he's so charming. Yeah. And he's good. He's very good at what he does. I thought Jodie Foster does what Jodie Foster does.
Yeah, she was pretty standard.
Reliable. Yeah, it's standard. It's standard Jodie Foster. It's better than that Artemis Hotel.
Okay, she was having some fun there.
That was something.
No. Everybody in that movie was just having some fucking fun. I mean, like,
I feel like Sterling K. Brown was having fun, and he was the only person having fun because I sure wasn't having fun. Shailene Woodley also. Benedict Cumberbatch, produced by him as well, and he's the first time he spoke in that movie. You have an expectation for when you hear Benedict Cumberbatch speak. And then he opens his mouth and he's like, well, I'll tell you one thing. And I was like, whoa. That's not the voice that's supposed to come out of that mouth. But they all do a great job. Zachary Levi is good in a little bit of bit parts that he has. It's short. Well, I think it's a little over 2 hours, but it moves quick.
Yes.
It tells a good story. It tells a heartfelt story, and one that I think is not told enough to your average everyday person who knows what Guantanamo Bay is. They know it is an entity that exists, but I don't think a lot of people realize what it is for, how it is being used, and what happens there. And this is a movie that kind of sheds a little bit of light on one of the more embarrassing parts of American history.
And one of the things that to borrow a phrase from you, that I loved about it is that it didn't try to pin it on a specific administration. Did it begin with the George W. Bush administration? Yes. But it continued into the Obama administration.
Sure shit did.
So there is no, in terms of the American government, moral high ground in terms of how long this man had been there and the treatment he went in. And for those of you that haven't seen it, I must give you a warning for photosensitivity. There is a sequence that is painful to watch emotionally in terms of his treatment in Guantanamo. But particularly if you have any kind of photosensitivity, there is a lot of strobing in that specific sequence. So just be advised that will happen and take your appropriate precautions.
Boom.
But it is a powerful film.
Agreed. And the last movie I watched is a movie that comes out, I do believe, on Friday. If you're listening to this the week that it goes up, The Courier. Have you seen this yet?
I have not. I unfortunately have literally no space in my schedule until like April, and there's a few that I've had to cram in because of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it is. Anyway, so how is it? Another Cumberbatch movie.
Benedict Cumberbatch week.
Cumberbatch. Yes, he's Cumberbatch.
He's Cumberbatch for another movie here.
The theaters.
Yeah. The Courier is it's a true story. I'm all about some true stories today. British businessman who ends up working with a Russian during the Cuban Missile Crisis to help prevent all-out nuclear war for the most part.
Which is bad.
Which by all confirmed sources is bad. Yes. Yeah, nuclear war, very bad. And it's a spy thriller type deal. And it's one of those fish out of water spy joints where it's like, this isn't my job. I'm not a spy.
Fish out of water spy joint? It's their first day.
Fish out of water spy joint. with someone who's not your average. It's not a James Bond. He's not a, it's almost like a 3 Days with a Condor vibe. You're always struggling to keep up. You're not cool, calm, and collected. You're not ahead of the game. His moving back and forth between England and I think Moscow is where he spends a good bit of his time. I think it's Moscow. And just the relationship between Greville Wynn is the name of the person, and Oleg Penkovsky is the name of the Russian. It's just the nature of their relationship and how they're working together to make this whole deal happen. This is a joint CIA MI6 operation. So you got your British intelligence, you got Rachel Brosnahan representing for the American CIA up in there. It's a standard spy thriller joint. It's not action James Bond. It's not Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy cerebral. It's just right there in the middle, man.
Okay.
Pretty good performances all around. Cumberbatch is doing what Cumberbatch does. The dude who plays Oleg Penkovsky, Mirab Ninitsi, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Charming as all hell as the Russian. Couple twists, couple turns. Interesting movie. I suggest people check it out.
Boom.
Done and done.
Well, it was great coming back for another. Oh wait, no, there's more. There's more cinnamon.
Yes,
we're more. Not done.
Yes, there's more flavor to come here. So you want to get right into our topic for today, sir?
Let's do this. This was particularly interesting. I'm gonna let you introduce this because your description of it was your idea, will be far more succinct than mine.
Will it? Top. Our favorite character introductions into movies. The end.
No, well, because there's a way to explain that. Because when you say character introduction, it's like calling Dick Tracy and people are talking about him, or like Dick showing up. Okay. So trying to come up with some of these things, it was like, are we talking like Darth Vader coming in at his first introduction in A New Hope? Is it Don Cheadle in Iron Man 2? I'm here, it's me, get used to it, however he phrased it. We talking Baby and Baby Driver, that kind of stuff? Or are we dealing with like the first appearance of Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, but we've already had the character before with Jack Nicholson? Or, and that doesn't even include Cesar Romero and whatever else. So when you're saying character introduction, how do you mean that?
I mean the first time the character appears on screen is how I defined it. But if you wanted to take liberties, I think all those are also definitely excellent. All excellent picks.
Those are also definitely moments in movies in which a character is introduced.
Right. I would not begrudge if any of those were on anybody's list for great character introductions. But for me, the way I interpreted it as...
So it's original first-time performances character introduction.
Yes. And you bring up that Joker. I mean, I think that still plays. It could be the first time that Jack shows up as Joker and not Jack Napier. I think the first time Heath Ledger shows up, we're not talking about Jared Leto. First time that Cesar Romero shows up. I think all those could be all different character introductions.
Where Jack Nicholson may be my favorite Joker, the Heath Ledger introduction as Joker is far superior. That entire sequence is so beautiful and so incredibly well orchestrated to just set up and tell you everything you need to know about Joker.
99% of it I'm on board with until that bus pulls out and slides right in. And I was like, bullshit.
If the rumors of the character are true, I don't call bullshit.
You don't call bullshit? I call there being a gap right at that time.
A bus-sized gap?
A bus-sized gap. And for the bus right behind it not be like, what the fuck is he doing? That's what I call bullshit on.
Yeah, but it's Gotham. So,
Yeah, bus coming out of a bank, not my business.
I got kids to drop off.
I got paycheck. But yeah, so let's start with you, sir. What is your first that is on your list of character introductions?
Well, my 3 come from within the last 40 years.
Oh, okay.
Okay. For no reason.
Since you've been alive.
Just setting that bar up. But the first one is out of the three, is not the one I love the most, but it is an introduction that without which the current everything of cinema would not be what it is. And that's Samuel L. Jackson showing up as Nick Fury at the end of Iron Man.
Damn, I was close. I was going to make a joke about first seeing Robert Downey Jr.'s hand with the scotch glass at the beginning of Iron Man, but okay. Yeah.
But it's just with Nick Fury, that becomes the tether to the other films. I mean, sure, at the end credit sequences, I mean, you've also got Agent Coulson, but Fury is the one pulling them all together. And you know that it's Fury that is sending Tony to go do certain things and doing this and doing that. So without Fury, and they solidify this in the film itself, but once we get to the Avengers, we see that it's Fury that's moving the pieces to get them together to form this unit. Right. So without Nick Fury showing up at the end of Iron Man, we wouldn't have had all of these movies. We wouldn't have gotten Endgame, certainly in the way that it exists. And certainly all the films that we have now wouldn't have influenced all the films that have come. I mean, the Russos may never have made Cherry. Tom Holland might not be Spider-Man. We don't know.
Yeah, that's you know what, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean, because and the thing to remember is back in the days of Iron Man, it was an independent movie from an independent studio, desperately trying to get bonding. Favreau had to fight for Robert Downey because of his checkered past.
Yep.
Which again, I argue made him perfect for the role.
Far better than Tom Cruise.
And they were improvising most of the script. Like there were all of these things that should have just been the worst movie ever. And it's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. It's still a strong movie. So if that film hadn't happened, if that film didn't have Nick Fury and Sam Jackson just perfect button, we wouldn't have what we've got.
If there's like a genie that popped up and he's like, I'll give you the chance to go back 3 times in your life and manipulate events, my very first one is I'm going back and telling myself, stay after the credits in Iron Man. I'm burning that one. Oh, no. You'll thank me somewhere down the road. Stay after the credits and watch all the way through.
I was rewatching Matrix Reloaded, and Crystal came up. I forget what she was doing, but she came up some point after the movie was getting ready to end, or near the end of the movie. And it was whatever time it was. And I was like, well, I think there's something at the end of this. I don't have to yell at anybody in the audience. I'll just fast forward. Because we were in college. I just graduated. I went to Asheville to see the movie. She was still there. And I'd read that there was an end credit sequence. People are leaving in the audience. I stood up and was like, don't leave. There's more. I was that idiot.
You know what? That surprises me none.
Yeah. So what's your first one?
My first pick, man, it's my weakest one. Like I had 2 solids, and this one I was just like, yeah, okay, fine. Also, it was a gas. It was also 2 minutes before we started recording. It's
2 solids, a gas, maybe a liquid.
It's Ethan Hunt, man, in the first Mission Impossible joint. So the first time you see him, he is already in disguise as a character.
No, it's Tom Cruise in makeup.
Is that what?
Sorry.
They're going through their mission. We no idea what the mission is. It's just it's happening, and you're getting all of these beats from this character, reactions from Emilio Estevez in there. They extract the information they need to extract out of whoever. They revive their teammates. And then you get the very first mask reveal that has now become a very popular tool used in the Mission Impossible. And side note, they use only like once every other movie, so it's still fresh every time they do it, and that's why I love it. They don't lean on it all that often.
No, they don't. Though it's gotten better. It no longer looks like Tom Cruise in a mask.
Yes.
You just get the other actor to do the scenes.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, and you're like, oh, oh, it's that kind of movie. It's this kind of dude, and you kind of know what you're in for the rest of the movie. The fact that you can't trust anyone, you can't trust anything, and people are ripping off faces left and right, then you don't know what's going on. And
Yep.
I think that's a pretty solid intro for a character.
I agree completely.
And it also
And
gives you a little bit of that the hint that there might be a little bit something more between him and Claire
oh yeah,
in that scene.
Yeah, they tee that up big time, which comes to an advantage. I've been wanting to revisit those movies for some time. I might just do that come May. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I think this is my Mission Impossible curse. It comes out, and I haven't seen one in theaters since 2. And 2 was so bad that I was like, I'm not watching. When 3 came out, I was like, I'm not watching this shit. And then I saw it later on down the road, and I was like, this movie's pretty dope. And then 4 came out, and I was like, I should probably go check that out. The last one was good. And then I just didn't. And then I saw it on video when it came out. And then 5 came out, and I was like, I should go check that out in theaters. And then I didn't. And then I watched it, and then that is now. And then the 6th one just came out. Is the last one?
Fallout, yeah. Came out a year or 2 ago.
And I was like, this is the one that I'm definitely going to see in theaters. 2 years, yes.
2 years, because we were supposed to have gotten the new Mission. Wait, no.
3 years.
Top Gun was supposed to be this summer. Mission Impossible, they're still making.
Yes.
McCrory was doing 7 and 8 back to back.
Right. And I was like, all right, finally, I can go watch one of these in theaters. And I didn't. So the next 2 that come out, I'm definitely going to see in theaters. But yeah, it's a franchise that not a whole lot of people talk about as one of the best franchises, but it is consistently pretty fucking solid outside of 2.
It's the thing that 2 gave us is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yes, that is the only good thing. It kind of introduced a lot of non-Brits to Tandy Newton, and it gave us Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and it gave us maybe the idea that let's pare back John Woo just a little bit in these movies, give him less doves. I think he negotiates his salary and
can't have less doves. It's a John Woo movie. Oh, okay. Crazy.
All right, yeah. So Ethan Hunt will be my first one, sir. What is your second reveal? Speaking of reveals,
my second one, I'm going to go all the way back to '94 with this one. This is the furthest, the oldest of my 3. When I think of character introductions, there's a lot that goes into it. Because again, the first time that you meet a character, you're also getting some bit of story. It should be moving the story forward, giving you a sense of things, as you said. We think it's Tom Cruise because it looks like Tom Cruise wearing makeup, but it's not Tom Cruise. What's going on? Who are these people? What's happening? What sort of mischief are they into? It sets the stage.
Right.
With my film, the first time that you meet this character, it's after there's been a lot of death, a lot of fear, and he appears out of the shadows. Blade first. Leon the Professional.
Oh, well done.
I am a huge fan of that film. Of course, the more that I learn about what was going on behind the scenes, and in particular that the film was inspired by Luke's relationship with the singer who she played the diva.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently she was exceptionally young when she met Luke, and this script came from that. So gross. But the introduction of Leon is incredible because his target is getting more and more isolated, and we have a shot facing the target who's got shadows behind him when all of a sudden an arm comes around with a blade at his neck, and Leon's face just emerges from the darkness. It is so subtle and so slick that you're about as surprised as the target is.
Right on.
And it tells you everything you need to know about the kind of hitman Leon is, that he's called the Professional for a reason.
Right.
Now, things, of course, in the movie go sideways, but it lets you know from the get-go he's not a man to mess with.
Yeah. I think that is his best movie, which is...
You didn't like him in Mission Impossible 1?
No, not Jean Reno, Luc Besson. Sorry. No, I love Jean Reno when he pops up. I'm like, oh, shady motherfucker alert when Jean Reno pops up. Like he popped up in Five Bloods, and I'm like, well, don't trust this dude already. And sure enough, boy, I was validated. No, I think it is Luc Besson's best movie, which is bittersweet in the sense of your first big project is your best big project, and everything else kind of pales in comparison. It's why Stephen King kind of bristles when people says The Stand is his best work, and he's like, I've done like a billion books since that, and I've never been able to top what I did 30 years ago. But anyways, yeah, I think that's a damn fine pull from a damn fine movie as well. And also it gives us our wildest Gary Oldman. I would dare to say everyone. Good call, sir. Good call. My number two would also be my oldest. I'm going back to the 70s for mine. Specifically, specifically a little joint from 1977 you may have heard of called The Star Wars.
The Star Wars?
You know what? You got it close enough.
The Star Wars?
The Star Wars.
Was Cyborgman in that?
Yeah, Star Wars. It is for me Princess Leia's introduction in. Wild shit's already happened in the movie, and then they're bringing her to see Darth Vader, and not a hint of fear, no submission, none of that shit. What does she do? Her first lines are shit talking, and I was like, oh, who is this? I was all in for only you could be so bold, goddammit. And I'm like, okay, all right, I can get that. And then she just toe-to-toe, tete-a-tete, back and forth with him. Like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. We're part of an official delegate over here. Obviously, she's
bullshit. Well,
one
you are, princess.
One of my favorite memes is actually from that scene with Darth Vader's pointing at her and just says bullshit. Yeah, she just
parents always know.
They always
parents always know.
And it's just like this is how you establish a character quickly. She pimps in, she stands her ground, she's firm, she's like, this is what the deal is, and then from there you can kind of break her down or do what you want with her, but I think that's how to effectively introduce a character quickly.
Yeah,
popped in, talk shit, she's on screen for maybe a minute, and then she's out of there. But damn good call.
Can I tell you a non sequitur story about parents catching and recognizing bullshit?
Oh, please do.
Okay, so this is fucking hilarious. Connor has gotten to a point where he knows he can't have his tablet in his bedroom or any video games. He's got this, like, here, I can actually show it to you. We got this at some sort of yard sale however long ago, got little cartridges and whatnot. It's really basic stuff. It's less fancy than the Game Gear when we were kids.
Man, I miss my Game Gear.
It was such a great device. It was in color. Anyway, so Connor has started trying to be sneaky, and he'll be like, okay, it's bedtime. I'm going to bring this box up. And he goes to take a box up to his room. Well, the whole routine we've had for years is one of us helps him get ready for bed. The other one gets his room ready for bed.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've started doing and what Crystal started doing is checking his bed to see if he's hidden something like in his sheets. So tonight he was like, I've got a box. And I wasn't really paying attention, but Crystal just looked at me and was like, so she's managing him brushing his teeth. She's got Preston who's teething. I go and quietly open up the box. And what the fuck do I look? The cartridges and the... Yeah, so he doesn't know that I found it because it's my greatest joy as a parent to hear. Last time he did this with his tablet. And when I came down in the morning, he was really sad. And Crystal's trying not to laugh when I go, Bud, what's wrong? I lost my tablet. He's just it just magically disappeared.
Aww.
And we're like, well, what happened? Well, I tried to take it upstairs in a box and I grabbed the wrong box. Oh, that's a bummer, dude. Like he seriously thought he fucked up. He doesn't realize he figured out his shit. So here's your meme. Bullshit. It's just
look, one of life's greatest joys is fucking with your kids. It is something I do when I have my daughter incessantly, to the point where it's just like she knows I'm fucking with her, and I just keep piling it on and play it straight the whole time. What is your last and final pick, sir?
My last one, and now based on your reaction to Leon, I wish I'd reversed these, but this one is from only because as far as I know, you haven't seen it, or if you have, you haven't responded to it as I did, which is, as always, fine. This one's from 2010. It's from one of the lesser known Dwayne Johnson films, when I believe he was still going by The Rock. The movie is called Faster.
Never heard of this.
Really?
No.
To me, it is a phenomenal film. It is a movie featuring Dwayne Johnson. At least on IMDb, they have him listed as driver, which he may never have a name. But it's him and Billy Bob Thornton going up against each other.
Okay. There's also my girl Carla Gugino.
Yep. The premise of the movie is that Johnson is an ex-con who's getting out of prison, and he's tracking down the people that murdered his brother.
Fair enough.
And when you meet him, you're sort of getting this montage of sequences of people talking, but every time it cuts back to him, he's pacing in his cell. He is just moving in his cell, and as soon as they open it, he is walking, and he is getting faster and faster as they're moving, and as soon as he gets out front, he literally runs. Without a word, you already know that this is a guy who is just a force. And yeah, he rips people apart in the way that you expect Dwayne Johnson to do. But this isn't, I suddenly can't remember his character, Hobbs. He's not Hobbs from the Fast and Furious movies at this point. There's emotion behind what's happening. It's not Dwayne Johnson, the badass. It's the brother.
Okay.
And it's hilarious and touching and thoughtful. And it's one of my favorite, hands down, performances Johnson has ever given. And with this introduction, you really get the sense that you are in for a ride. So
right on. Well then, not bad. I gotta add that to the list, man. I'll find it streamed somewhere. 2 Lost alum in this movie. Always a fan of finding Lost.
They find themselves.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. Hopefully,
they don't say Lost for long.
Faster the
better.
Saving
grace, if you will. I'll stop now.
Okay, and my last one.
You missed this.
Yeah, hopefully he's talking to you, audiences. He's talking to you.
Oh,
my last one, man. You talked about Leon the Professional coming out of the shadows. When I pitched this idea to you, I had a few beers at that time. When I pitched this idea to you, never.
Real quick, have you seen another round? Because if you haven't, you should.
Oh, I haven't. And every time it's been winning a lot of the foreign language awards. I'm like, I gotta check this out, man.
It's based on a real theory that a psychiatrist, I think, had, that you are born with your blood alcohol level being too low, so that by actually drinking a specific amount, you can achieve your full potential.
It's the Lucy of drinking movies.
Yes.
Luc Besson!
But yeah, so sorry, go ahead. So couple of beers, you were thinking you were firing on all cylinders.
Firing, first of all, sir, I'm always firing on all cylinders. But yeah, I thought this idea up, and immediately after thinking of the idea, I was like, oh well, number one is obviously Indiana Jones.
Well, Sean Connery does have a great introduction in there.
Sorry. Henry Jones Jr., Indiana Jones. We named a dog Indiana. The first time you see him in Raiders, man, it's hints of him, it's flashes of him, it's silhouettes, profiles. You see the whip before you see him. All this stuff goes down. You see the character be the character that you know and love, doing these things like, hey, don't touch that. Hey, don't stop there. Don't do this. Don't do that. Until the guy tries to pull a gun, the whip comes out, does his thing, and then he steps out of the shadows and into the light. And I'm like, that's how you introduce a mofo. So it's similar to, you know, hearing about them before you see them. This is like seeing them, but not fully getting to see them, obscuring them before you finally get to see them. And when he steps out into the light, it's in the big bad way. And I think as far as a character's first in the light introduction into a film, you don't get much better than Raiders of the Lost Ark and Harrison Ford.
I would argue that it's a better introduction for Alfred Molina.
How so?
He's the guy with the gun.
So you think the better introduction is just the hand with the gun raising up?
No, the actor. It's Alfred Molina, who is like, throw me the idol.
I know it's Alfred Molina, but
there's
Alfred Molina. No possible way that's a better introduction for Alfred Molina. Give me the idol.
I'm just being a son of a bitch. But yeah, no, if people don't know that it's Alfred Molina in the scene, I think that was his first gig.
Oh, that's his first gig, really? I
would have to double check.
Time I got to do the hand business when he's doing the hand business. Like the movie just doesn't happen if I don't do the hand business.
Have you seen Raya and the Last Dragon?
No, I saw it hit the inbox.
It has a very Indiana Jones vibe.
Oh, right on. Yeah. I think I might scoop up the little one here soon, and that will be a watch that we watch.
Right on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's you've picked it's icon. I mean, the character itself is iconic. There are, like I just mentioned with Raya, there are films that come out now that are heavily influenced by the films that those creators watched as kids. And you're going to take something from a pedestal, you're coming at it like Indiana. That's what we are now wired to do.
Right.
You're swapping something. You're like, how fast do I have to be? Is the weight right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So no, your pick is spot on. Well done, sir.
Much appreciated. Let's talk a little bit about some cinnamon challenges, shall we?
Do we have time?
We're getting.
Are we
there.
going to make time?
We can make some time, I do believe.
Okay, I can steal some if you like.
Oh, okay. Then hey, go ahead. We were just doing the hand things for. This is not a visual podcast. We know.
If we were talking about Pump Up the Volume, we would have done this. But instead, we're talking about Indiana Jones, so we do this. Couldn't hear.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Sure.
You gave me a joint, man. It's on Hulu now. Mm-hmm. Came out in January. I do believe, if I recall correctly.
It did, based on a Broadway play.
Based on a Broadway play in and of itself. One-man show, man. Well, yeah, I'll call it one-man show. Derek Del Gaudio is the one man in question. A sleight of hand artist, a storyteller, and he kind of uses his skills to put on a show. Is the best way of putting it, man. And
when one is doing a Broadway show, one should put
on a show, and it must go on as well.
It does.
I
Maybe a bit with a dog. I don't know.
I think he did like 500 of these, right?
Over 500, yeah. That's a lot of gold bricks.
That's a lot of gold bricks. And you can tell he's got his act down. It's kind of hard to describe what it is or is about. It's kind of a man telling you about his life, kind of giving you some life lessons throughout. Him being a sleight of hand artist or a magician, whatever you want to call it, as we will find in Falcon and Winter Soldier, according to the Falcon, it's only wizards and sorcerers. Wizards wear hats, sorcerers don't wear hats.
What do you think you're going to find? Gandalf? You read that? Yeah. In 1937 when it came out. Great. Their chemistry is wonderful. Sorry, you brought it up.
And you know what? If I remember correctly, it's just complete accident. They were just like, you two go on the press tour for Civil War, and they had no idea that magic would be born on that press tour. That's where the chemistry started, was them bouncing back and forth off of each other, answering questions from the reporters and whatnot. And they were like, "Oh, that's nice. That's good chemistry right there."
I just figured it's because they were having so much fun just giving each other shit in Civil War.
Yeah,
but okay. That makes sense to me.
But yeah, this
can't make up that good chemistry.
You can't make it up. in and of itself it's like I said, it's hard to describe or nail down what it is. It's kind of set in chunks or pieces or stages of him doing different things to inspire, amaze, motivate, wow the audience in different ways. Card tricks. I mean, yeah, if you're thinking, yeah, I've seen card tricks, and that's still impressive. The showmanship is what's there. As good as he is a sleight of hand artist, he's a damn fine actor.
Yeah,
as well. Um, just this is one of those, I don't want to say what it is because you should go in as fresh as possible.
I agree.
I will go so far as to say that this is the first thing that I have put on as a possibility of my top 10 for 2021.
Yay!
It is amazingly good, and I already plan on watching it again here in short order. Go into it blind listening to this podcast. If you're listening out there, if you made it this far into the show, go into it blind. If you have Hulu, it is on Hulu in and of itself. Go ahead and directed by Yoda, man. Frank Oz. He's like, cards you must do. It's great. Just the philosophy behind it. It's like taking your standard magic show and putting it on a whole different level than we've had big tricks. I'll make the Statue of Liberty disappear, and yeah, that's cool and all, but he makes it personable and relatable and emotional. That's something that magic shows don't really have. It's about the wow factor and the showmanship. He makes it emotional, and that's why it's great.
Yeah, I would actually love if we did I forget if we talked about the pinch of cinnamon early on. I think we did. I would love to do a longer discussion of that one.
Sure.
Because talking about it is fascinating. It is difficult to talk about when people haven't seen it. So I absolutely agree with you. Obviously, I challenged you to see it. It's currently my number 2 for 2021 out of 12 movies. My number 3 is Psycho Gorman, which comes out on home video on the 16th. Highly recommend that shit if you like some adult Power Rangers type action. It is nuts. But no, we should totally do a pinch episode on that.
All right. Yeah, I'm all down for that. We chit-chatted a little bit about it before we started recording, and that can lead to a longer conversation, I think.
Absolutely.
And what about you, sir? I gave you a joint from the 80s.
Yes, you did. It is certainly older. I have been hearing about Thief particularly a lot over the last year. I don't know if it's just because it's 2021, so it's officially 40 years old. So I don't know if it's part of that. Heat had an anniversary, earlier this year. So I don't know if that had something to do with it. Collateral had an anniversary. So people may have just been getting knee deep in Man.
Yeah. Knee deep in some crime shit.
Yeah, and with some of the Criterion sales, a bunch of people were like, I bought Thief. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Whoa, there's the Thief Criterion?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. Can't wait.
It's March. You've got until, I think, July.
Barnes and Noble. All right. Hey, look, I don't work a shit ton of overtime for no reason, sir. Give me a couple extra dollars. Get me some Thief on Criterion. What you think?
Expectation is a killer.
Yes, it is.
And part of that is because the description of the movie is bullshit. The description of the movie is that it's about a former safecracker trying to go straight.
Mm-hmm.
That is not even remotely close to what this movie is. For those of you that are unfamiliar, this film, apparently it's based on a novel.
Yeah.
But it's James Caan as Frank, who is a safecracker. He's part of a team. His specific consistent partner is played by Jim Belushi, and in a really great role. I mean, it's pretty low key, but still very solid.
Yeah.
And it's Frank. He and Barry, they rob places for diamonds and cash. and during the day he runs a used car lot. He is an ex-con. He did do time, and he wants out. He's not trying to go straight. He wants to have a house. He wants to have the wife. He wants to have kids. And he's met a woman played by an actress, Tuesday
Weld, my girl.
Who doesn't know what he does, but he does tell her, because his buddy, played by Willie Nelson, who is in jail, is like, don't be an asshole. You fucked everything up. Tell her the truth. Don't lie to her. Willie is barely in this, and he's one of the best damn parts of the movie.
I 100% agree with that. And when he does kind of sit her down and tell the truth, I'm like, whoa, that's too much truth, buddy. Too much truth.
But and for me, that's okay. So first is the expectation of the type of story it is. He's very much in the life. He's still getting violent. He's still doing all these things. And maybe it's because of the way some of the movies I've been watching lately and the way that they treat women and the way that they go about stuff. Frank's like, he has to go meet someone to get paid, and that person gets killed, and people have taken the money that he was supposed to have been given. So he's going after those people. But by going after, I mean, like, he goes up to him and is like, you guys took the money that belonged to me. I want it back. We don't want to give you our money back. Fuck you. Oh yeah. You don't know who I am. I'm going to fuck you up. Oh God, we fucked with the wrong person. We'll set up a meeting. He's giving his money back.
Yeah.
But in order to have that meeting, he's now late for dinner with Jessie. And she's like, fuck you. I want none of your shit. Get the fuck out of here. And he's like, no, you're coming with it. He drags her out of a restaurant, throws her in a car. He's driving crazy down the street to go to a restaurant to sit and talk. I'm like, at what point is any of this shit healthy?
Oh, none of it. No point.
Exactly. And everything that happens after that is not healthy. And I'm not saying that a story this conversation's been coming up with I Care a Lot, and I still haven't seen that, where you can have a protagonist that is not necessarily a good person or someone that you agree with. I was trying to find a way to understand Frank's thinking with this, and he's so volatile and so unrestrained that I had trouble with that. But I get where some people have found this performance by Khan to be wonderful, because he is magnetic. I get where people would be like, he's a sexy bastard and he can crack my safe anytime. I get that. Daryl is repulsed apparently by that description. He's a safecracker, sir. He's gonna bring the flame, and he can do it for 16 to 18 hours in the right conditions.
In the right conditions. With a cigarette afterwards.
I wasn't prepared for the way the story goes, and I thought that was actually kind of wonderful. Because the way that people tend to do these films is, all right, I'm going to do a film about thieves, so we're going to do a lot of thieving. And in a way, it kind of reminded me of Rafifi, which has one theft, and it's not even the end of the fucking movie.
Ooh.
This movie starts by showing him working, and then the majority of the film is doing the job, getting ready to do the job, casing the joint, doing other stuff. So I found that. What's that?
Pre-production.
Absolutely. So I found that fascinating. It really got you into this world, and particularly the cops, the dirty fucking ass cops. Just pay us. It's how things work. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. Fuck off.
Yep.
Well, now we're going to beat the shit out of you. Oh, you're a stand-up guy, huh? Just pay us. Fuck you.
That's actually one of my favorite scenes in that movie.
Make it easier on yourself. No. Now what are you going to do? Hit you with a phone book.
You're right. Yes. And the trash can. And the trash can.
Like they're just throwing shit on top of them. And I'm going, man. No wonder cops today. Anyway,
it's like, man, Tuesday in America. Okay.
Yeah. Though I think I watched it on a Wednesday. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. But it's not bad. I think, again, expectations were the killer. I think a rewatch, I'd be able to appreciate it under a different set of circumstances. The score by Tangerine Dream is fantastic.
I think one of the, because I think it is, I don't think it's Well, I watched it last year for the
Mm-hmm.
first time when the anniversary wasn't quite there, but for some reason, there was like a week or a month period where everybody on Twitter is like, "You motherfucker saying Thief? That shit is dope."
This is what I'm saying.
And I was
People were
like,
talking. I have no idea why.
"Yeah." So I watched it, and I was like, "This shit is dope." But I think one of the saving graces, not saving graces, but one of the standouts is the cinematography of this movie. That
It is
neo
gorgeous.
noir look, especially when it's nighttime in the city and how they use lights and reflective puddles and things, that rainy look. Some of the shots, and you're like, "Oh, that's right. Michael Mann did produce Miami Vice," because the beginning of it looks so Miami Vice-ish.
I was actually thinking of, man, I haven't watched Miami Vice in forever, but his version. We bought the director's cut, and I've never watched it.
That Miami Vice.
Yeah,
Jamie Foxx,
and
Colin
Colin
Farrell. I heard there's no chemistry between the two of those cats in that movie. I never saw it. And obviously,
I saw it in theaters. It's like, oh, it's Michael Mann and Colin Farrell, because I loved Collateral.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. I used to love Miami Vice. Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
I just haven't revisited it. It's a very different vibe.
Different vibe. Right on. From what I hear, those two did not get along on set, which might contribute to some of that.
It might.
But yeah.
Wait, by the way, Thief on back order, but currently on sale for $31.96, down from $39.99.
Criterion?
Uh-huh.
Sold.
Director approved special edition. New digital restoration from a 4K film transfer of the director's cut, approved by director Michael Mann, with 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio soundtrack of the Blu-ray. Audio commentary featuring Mann and actor James Caan. New interview.
Oh! You said commentary with Mann and James Caan?
Audio commentary, Mann and James Caan. New interviews with Mann, Kane, Johannes Schmoling of the band Tangerine Dream, which contributed to the film's soundtrack. There's a trailer, dude. They've got a trailer.
When you're listing trailers as your special features.
What was that?
I said, when you're listing trailers as your special features, come on.
Yeah.
Let it go.
There's nothing special about that.
Yes.
Although that does remind me, I'll tell you off mic because we don't need to have it on recording. But there's something special about a trailer I saw recently. I was like, all right. But no, I do agree with you. It is kind of a bummer when you get a home release and there's nothing on it. Thankfully, Criterion, Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow, some of these boutique, Severin, they really do put in the work to make these films worthy. It's really interesting what Criterion decides is worth a release, but we're going to be getting Sound of Metal in a Criterion release, so fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that movie well enough, but nowhere near as high on it as other people were. I was talking to young Joel Winstead of Winstead Reviews, and both of us really like
friend of Paprika Movie Reviews.
A friend of Paprika Movie Reviews. Some people out there apparently bummed that they are not friends of Paprika Movie Reviews. But anyways,
they just need to steal that.
We were talking about First Cow. And it seems like me and him both liked it a lot more than other people did. And I was like, you think they'll get a Criterion release? And he's like, I think it's going to get a Criterion release. And then Sound of Metal got a Criterion release. And I was like, I don't think First Cow is going to get a Criterion release.
Here's my thinking on it is that right now, Criterion appears to have a deal with Netflix and Amazon. First Cow is the type of art house movie that would get a type of Criterion. But if they do it, it's going to be a while.
Yeah,
that would be my guess in my limited experience with Criterion.
Anyway,
that if it gets one, we're talking like 5-10 years from now.
I'm okay with that. But yeah, I will be picking up Thief on Criterion. There's a long way of saying that when I get paid Friday, I am picking that shit up immediately.
then you know what? Check Barnes and Noble. See if they can do a price match. Maybe they have it in stock.
Ooh, that's a good point. You got anything else before you wind this bad boy on down, sir?
Just a forward apology to everybody at Paprika that I'll be dropping about 8 South by Southwest reviews in the group forum. But we've got myself and 3 other members of the EOM team that are covering South by Southwest. We're looking at a minimum of 20 reviews total. But we're each, I think, doing some outside of the festival, so probably looking more like 25, 30. Yay!
Yay.
This month is looking nuts in terms of upcoming releases. I'm super fucking psyched for Godzilla versus Kong, and hoping that that's going to be a good time. King of the Monsters wasn't bad when it was focused on the monsters, and the only reason why those monster fights sucked is that they gave me a literal migraine.
Well, there you go.
King Ghidorah's flashy was too much. It apparently I've developed photosensitivity in my old age, and they now cause migraines. Getting old's fun.
Getting old is a blast.
But you know, and we got Mortal Kombat coming up, and we got all kinds of good shit coming out. So you know,
I'm here for it, man. I'm all for it. Yeah. All right. I think that's gonna do it for this episode of the Cinnamon. We'll be back at some predetermined time by us, but not by y'all. And we'll be back over on the Patreon. Join.
When do you want us back, guys? Just tell us now. Right now.
But we'll also be having that pinch of cinnamon. That's going to be coming behind the old Patreon paywall there. So $5, man. Go ahead and check out. I think we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League as our first.
We are going to be discussing the Snyderverse.
The Snyderverse as a whole. So there you go. There's something for you to look forward to. Until then, you guys take it easy, and we will see y'all later on.
Man of Steel is terrible.